Okay, folks. So I want to share some information with y'all that I feel might be relevant to some of the things going on and some of the current events and headlines and things. And I feel like I should do like a little disclaimer or something here right in the beginning, you know, just to let people know that it's just information. It's all. And I'm going to try hard not to, inject my opinion too hard into it. But after all, this is my channel. This is my content. And I feel like, I should be able to just interpret things and things that are going on and share information that I feel might be relevant. It's just my opinion. So I just don't want anybody to get upset or offended or triggered or anything by any of the information that I want to share because I feel that it's, relevant. And I don't know if y'all noticed it or not, but in this capture, this was from earlier today, looking to the north, and there was something sticking out there that just it stuck out to me, and I couldn't help but see it. And it's right up here. There's like something real interesting poking out right there too, amongst the other things, amongst the square clouds, and what looks like an eye in the sky right there. But the information that I want to share, I feel is relevant in light of some of the current events. And while I'm absolutely awestruck myself at a lot of the things going on. And my son has this capture here of the auroras, and I hope that he doesn't mind. I did like a screen recording and then just kind of expose the video that he had uploaded a little bit more so you can kind of see a little bit more the glow that he was seeing there. So I'm in awe too. I mean, it is awe inspiring, I will say. But the issues that I have myself personally and why I feel it necessary to share some additional information is because we're not getting an honest evaluation of what we're seeing. I don't believe anyway, and that's my opinion. I don't think that they're telling us everything, that's going on. And now, curiously enough, um, this was from a time lapse video of the 10th. That video was taken. Yeah, this was on the 10th on 510, and this is what I captured here in a time lapse video. Star trails looking to the north. This right here is supposed to be Polaris. And there's something really interesting there. You see this breakup here? I don't think in all of the Star Trail videos that I have ever seen that before, where there's what appears to be a complete disruption of the light and energy coming from these stars. And the camera was pointing to the north. And again, because I'm repetitive, I'll say it again. This is supposed to be Polaris, but if you look close at this, all of them, all of these lights along here in this capture get disrupted. Something disrupts them. And this was on the 10th. This was a time lapse, Star Trail video that I had taken on the 10th. Double check on that. Yes, May 10th. And it would have been right around 9:30ish, 10 o'clock, which would have been right around the same time that my son was capturing these lights here in Michigan. I should say not here because I'm out in Nevada. The time lapse capture of the star trails that I have, this is out here in Nevada, looking to the north. And clearly you can see there's a disruption. Something disrupts those lights there for several minutes. This is a time lapse video, of course. So something else is kind of going on up there. And that's why I feel compelled to share additional information. And if we look back a week prior, this would have been on May 3rd. This is what the camera had captured on the time lapse, looking towards the north. Again, this is Polaris right in the center. And you can see there's like this pulse going on there. And I uploaded a video calling it a resonance, right? Well, folks, there's something else that's out off in that direction as well from our location, because this is pointing north from Nevada. And you can see there's the waves coming up from off to the northwest of our location. And let's just look at what's out to the northwest of our location. If I can find the thing. Yeah, there we go. So we're down here in southern Nevada. The camera is aimed right north, off in this direction to the sky. What do we have over here? We have HARP. So myself personally, it's my opinion anyway, that these waves and this type of pulse activity that the camera was detecting and recording and documenting could possibly be coming from HARP beaming the ionosphere. And if we look back in history, we can see that these types of experiments in beaming things into the ionosphere and creating artificial auroras has been going on for quite some time. I mean, for a while, folks. This is March 13th, 1981. Okay, and I think that this one is pretty relevant because of some other stuff that has occurred recently that a lot of people might not be aware of that involves NASA as well in their research. But in this article here, it talks about the first experiment was a NASA rocket base at Wallops Island, Virginia in 1969, where they used an electron gun. A device capable of shooting out beams of high-speed electrons was placed in the nose cone of a rocket and lofted high above most of the atmosphere using gas jets. The rocket payload was rotated until it pointed downward along the direction of the Earth's magnetic field, which, even as far south as Virginia, points more downward than northward. And when all was ready, bursts of electrons were shot from the gun, traveling at speeds nearly 20,000 miles per hour. Okay. So the thin pencil streaks of aurora that resulted were too weak to be seen by the eye, but still they were recorded by sensitive ground-based television systems developed by the University of Alaska and placed around the launch site. And again, that was back in 1969 when they were first doing some of these experiments. And this article was put out in 1981. Okay. I mean, this was just from a couple years ago. Artificial modification of Earth's radiation belts by ground-based very low frequency transmitters. And let's not forget the artificial radiation belts that were created up there. If you want to talk about space weather, folks, let's really look at where space weather really comes from. I mean, NASA and space agencies and all these scientists would have us believe that it's coming from all this cosmic activity coming from the sun's reaction and the sun's interaction in our big vast universe, right? But then they put out information like this, and we see videos. We've seen lots of videos demonstrating some of these explosions and what they look like. And I think that's curious too, where they created these energy fields up there. So how can anything from deep space ever get into our atmosphere or ever interfere with us and our weather down here or anything at ground level when we have all of this other energy floating around? And now let's again, I need to reiterate, I'm just giving my opinion. And I'm just saying there are some things that are going on that I feel are relevant to some of the current events related to what we've been observing. And I'm not by any means taking away from the whole awe-inspiring aspect of seeing these things and observing these lights in the skies, because it actually is a very fascinating phenomenon that occurs. But the reasons why it's occurring, there needs to be more transparency, folks. And that being said, I'm just going to present more information. That's all this is. It's just me sharing information, okay? And this was an article that was put up just yesterday. NASA's sounding rocket chief praises first solar flare campaign from Poker Flats. The head of NASA's sounding rocket program called April's first launches, okay, back in April 17th, okay. Oh, I'm getting flustered. I apologize. Bear with me. The head of NASA's sounding rocket program called April's first launches of the space agency's solar flare sounding rocket campaign the, quote, perfect example of cooperation among facilities, including Poker Flat Research Range northeast of Fairbanks. Where's that? In Alaska. The range is owned and operated by the University of Alaska Fairbanks Geophysical Institute. And what is in that area? What is in Gakona? Once again, do I got to show y'all? Heart. Okay. Fairbanks is up here. Two Black Brant 9 sounding rockets launched moments apart from Poker Flat on April 17th, not even a month ago, just a few weeks ago, to gather data about a moderate-sized solar flare. The launches closed out the rocket range's 2023-24 season, which included two successful launches in November. Which, by the way, there were auroras being seen back in November as well. There's articles on it where they actually said, let me see if I can find them. Not that one. Hang on, folks. Bear with me. Oh, no, this was from 2019. NASA created artificial auroras in the sky above Norway. NASA's artificial aurora was designed to tell the agency more about real ones. So they're simulating and creating these events so that they can prepare for when or if it actually happens in real life, which I have my own opinion about that once again on the origins of what we're seeing nowadays in our skies. I don't think they're being transparent. Anyway, I want to find oh, this was from 2013. There we go. Lighting up the Arctic sky with artificial aurora. The U.S. military's Naval Research Lab teamed up with university researchers and defense contractors to set the atmosphere aglow. And this was in February 27th of 2013. So it's not anything new. And they used the HARP array. Okay. They used the HARP. And of course, the usual suspects. We got BAE Systems weighing in on this whole situation too. So I'm just saying, I'm sharing information. Okay. Oh, that's a whole nother video there. Anyway, when we're talking about this recent sounding rocket campaign that was just released. This campaign Executed by NASA's Wallops Flight Facility Sounding Rockets Program Office is the perfect example of collaboration between multiple operational sites, said Giovanni Rosanova, chief of the Sounding Rocket Program. The payloads, carrying large telescopes, were initially integrated at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico and sent to Poker Flat Research Range in Alaska, where we can easily wait for the right science conditions for launch, he said. In other words, they needed these so-called flares. Okay, they needed these events to finish out their 2023-24 season. Okay, they needed a reason to launch these things. They needed these flares. To think about that one too, and that'll take you even deeper into the message that I'm trying to present here without fear. Okay, NASA has historically launched its solar sounding rockets from the Army's White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. Poker Flat provided greater flexibility for the April launches because its location in a sparsely populated region creates little disruption, allowing for lengthy launch periods that provided the two lead scientists plenty of time to wait for a suitable solar flare. They needed it. They needed these solar flares. Now, what would have happened to their project, to their sounding rocket program, if they did not have these massive flares and these massive events in order to test them? What would have become of them? The university operates Poker Flat under a contract with Wallops Flight Facility. The Sounding Rockets program, funded by NASA's Heliophysics Division, is managed at the Wallops facility in Virginia under the agency's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. The missions were successful because of the highly skilled and dedicated teams working together to pave the way for a new type of science investigation. Think about it. Rosanova said of the agency's decision to use sounding rockets to study solar flares. We welcome more such campaigns in the coming years. Do you know? Poker Flat Research Range Director Kath Rich said that 2023-24 was unusual for the range, which launches in November and April rather than the months in between. Fall launches have never been done at Poker Flat, mostly because the fall months are generally so cloudy, she said of the two November launches. We got clear skies and good conditions at the same time very early in the launch window, which nobody really expected to happen. Well, how convenient for you that you had clear skies over there that day. I can't imagine there would be any kind of tools or instruments at your disposal in that area that might be able to just disperse any fog or clouds so you could do your test. I mean, the two April launches were the first solar launches from Poker Flat and were the culmination of 4+ years of work, Rich said. We are very pleased that we were such a success, she said. The April launches also occurred during daytime, something different for the Poker Flat crew because launches usually occur in the dark for Aurora research. I wonder why. For our crew, it just felt quite strange and a little disorienting to be counting down on a rocket while it was light out, Rich said. The nearly 2-week daytime launch window also affected aviation around communities in the rocket's flight path. Flight restrictions were imposed for several hours a day while scientists waited for right conditions for launch. Also different from the April launches, the Poker Flat team was required to have 2 helicopters in Coldfoot on standby to recover payloads within 24 hours. Now remember, folks, they do have a program out there that you can sign up for, where you can go out and be a rocket hunter for them after they do their test. They get the public involved in these things and make it seem like it's all fun and rewarding, right? You can get involved. I look forward to seeing more solar work in the future, as Poker is uniquely qualified to wait for an event and be able to recover a payload so it could be refurbished and reflown. There are a few ranges that are land-based, and those that have scheduling challenges, that make waiting days or weeks for an event difficult. The April launches occurred on the last day of the 12-day launch window. The lead scientists had been waiting for the right type of solar flare. So again, how convenient is it? The wait ended just after 2 p.m. on April 17th when they gave the go-ahead for launch. The rockets reached altitudes up to 168 miles, and their instruments were able to observe the large solar flare, according to NASA. Now listen to this. This is where it gets good. Each rocket carried a separate mission. The Focusing Optics X-ray Solar Imager mission was the first to launch at 2:13 p.m. The mission is led by Lindsay Glessner, an associate professor at the University of Minnesota Institute for Astrophysics. The high-resolution coronal imager mission launched at 2:14 p.m. 1 minute later. Sabrina Savage at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center is the mission's principal investigator. The two launches gathered data for heliophysics research and validated new science experiments. Okay, again, I have to say something here. Okay, they are launching and gathering data for heliophysics research. Not everybody subscribes to the heliophysics. So where are the ones in these space agencies that are publicly funded doing the research into the other theories that are out there that are not related to helio research? Again, we need to demand a little bit more about how some of our tax dollars are spent. Okay, but anyway, I digress. Heliophysics deals with the study of the sun and its effects on the solar system, including the Earth and other planetary bodies. All the teams were getting nervous after the campaign opening was delayed due to some technical issues at the pad, and the sun became unusually quiet for several days, Savage said. But on the second to the last day of the official window, we got our flare. Both launches were perfect, and both experiments observed the same region at the same time, she said. The two launches were the last of Poker Flats' 2023-24 season. Two other launches occurred on successive days in November, and again, auroras were produced. Okay? The first of those was for the dissipation mission, which sought to learn how charged solar wind particles dissipate their energy in the high latitude ionosphere thermosphere. Mehdi Benna, an aeronomist, okay, aeronomist and planetary scientist at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center, is the experiment's principal investigator. We are still in the process of processing the data and accessing science results, Benna said in late April. What we can say for now is that all instruments operated as intended and collected data. Did it? Okay. Associate Professor Mark Conde of the UAF Geophysical Institute and UAF College of Natural Science and Mathematics is a co-investigator on that project. The following day saw the launch of the Beam-Plasma Interactions experiment, which involved generation of very low frequency radio waves using a pulsed electron beam. The goal was to cause charged particles to rain down from space along Earth's magnetic field lines and into the upper atmosphere. Okay, it is one idea for cleaning near Earth space after a nuclear detonation at the edge of the planet's atmosphere. The cleanup would make space safer for satellites. Folks, I don't think I need to read too much more. Okay, this was launched just recently, and this article was just put up yesterday. And I guess what I'll do is just read that one more time. Okay. The following day saw the launch of the Beam-Plasma Interactions experiment, which involved generation of very low frequency radio waves using a pulsed electron beam. The goal was to cause charged particles to rain down from space along Earth's magnetic field lines and into the upper atmosphere. Folks, for whatever reasons that they have for not including this kind of information into their news reports when they're covering these events, like these auroras, but instead they're taking the time to warn people, right? For a week prior to this whole event popping off and being observed, this is not new information, okay? And I just the honesty of it is kind of lacking when it comes to that. And again, this was from November of last year. This was their other experiment, which caused the auroras last year. And for them to just continue to perpetuate the whole thing about how it's, coming from the sun, how it's solar flares. Well, how convenient then? How convenient that that's just what the scientists ordered for their experiments, right? I just I just feel necessary and I feel compelled, and I would be remiss if I did not share additional information other than what I keep on hearing. Because now what's trending? Super fluffy planet found. Another super fluffy planet is found, folks. And how interesting that if you go, onto the next page, you'll see that there was a super fluffy planet discovered back in 2021. There was a marshmallow giant fluffy planet discovered in 2022. There was another mysterious fluffy exoplanet discovered 23 WASP 107b. And fluffy planets. There's all these fluffy planets being discovered, right? By these so-called scientists that are really smart, right? Well, again, I'm just sharing information. I'm just sharing information. That's it. Okay. I mean, we've seen the videos and we've seen what this stuff looks like from, when it's done here at ground level and from our near Earth atmosphere area. But when you go into even their own simulation programs, what do you see? I mean, it looks like a freaking planet, right? I'm just saying, I'm just sharing information. Just sharing information. Simulations. Just, and for whatever reasons, for what we're seeing going on, it just, the fact that they're putting out this information about another fluffy planet yet being discovered. Cool story, bro. Cool story. We have all these cool fluffy planets out there, right? Please, come on, man. Come on, man. I'm not diminishing the beauty of what we're seeing in the sky at times, but I'm just saying they need to they need to be a little bit more honest about it because it seems to be the so-called consensus that it's being caused from the sun and it's creating this threat to our existence and it's going to destroy our, radio equipment and stuff. And now when they say stuff like that, and then I capture something like this where it clearly looks like something occurred back on the 10th in the sky. Something did because it shut down these stars. It shut down these lights in the sky temporarily on and off here. So something happened, but did it really come from the sun? I gotta wonder. And that's what I thought maybe this might have been because the sun was moving off in that direction after it went down. But this is just the alignment of it. It's just too close to what I see here off in that direction. I don't know. I'm just sharing information, folks. That's all. And I don't think that they should be allowed to continue with this kind of stuff myself personally. With as awe-inspiring and pretty as the lights that we observed are, I know myself from my own research and from my own experiences that exposing people, the whole of the population to stuff like that is having a negative impact on a certain percentage of the population. And it's been proven through scientific experiments that being exposed to that kind of stuff can cause a level of degradation to certain biological beings and animals and things in our environment. It has the potential to be very detrimental, but yet there's still